Hey guys, what's up? Derek here from Bomb Socks with more Bomb Bites, where we feast upon the words of Christ, one bite at a time. So as we're concluding this week in the Come Follow Me, I'm actually going to go backwards a little bit. I'm going to start in chapter 20, and then I'm going to go back and finish up in chapter 19. Chapter 20's got a crazy story. Verse number 7, it's first day of the week. The disciples came together to break bread. Paul was preaching unto them, ready to depart on the morrow, and continued his speech until midnight. So he is up late teaching. And there sat in a window a certain young man named Eutychus, being fallen into a deep sleep, and as Paul was long preaching, so Paul been talking a lot, and this guy was starting to fall asleep because it was late at night, he sunk down with sleep and fell down from the third loft and was taken up dead. So this guy falls 3 floors to his death. Paul went down, fell upon him, embracing him, and said, "Trouble not yourselves, for his life is in him." You can just imagine Paul's like, "It's okay. The guy's still alive." When he therefore was come up again and had broken bread and eaten and talked a long while, even till the break of day, so he departed. And they brought the young man alive and were not a little comforted. That's an interesting phrase. You go to the NIV, it says, the people took the young man home alive and were greatly comforted. So they were not a little comforted. They were greatly comforted. So it's kind of a cool little message right there, how this guy falls, dies. Paul's like, "Don't worry, bring him back up. Everybody's just fine." You go back to chapter 19, there's a couple of cool phrases here. Verse 11, and God wrought special miracles by the hands of Paul. You just watched one take place. So that from his body were brought unto the sick handkerchiefs or aprons, and the diseases parted from them, and the evil spirits went out from them. As I was reading this story, again, I'm a church history fan, I was reminded about how as the saints were driven from Missouri, they ended up in this malaria-filled swamp called Commerce, Illinois, which was eventually turned into Nauvoo. But as they got there, you all of a sudden have severe illnesses going on. And Joseph Smith himself is on his deathbed. And what happens, it's called the Day of Healing. Joseph Smith stands up and he's able to be healed, and he goes out and starts healing other people. Well, from church history, one of the things it says is, in this manner, the prophet and the brethren passed from house to house, healing the sick and recalling them from the mouth of the tomb. Kind of like this guy over here, right? It was on this occasion that a man, not a member of the church, seeing the mighty miracles which were performed, begged the prophet to go with him and heal 2 of his children who were very sick. The prophet could not go, but said he would send someone to heal him. Now, here's where you see Paul's example here. Taking from his pocket a silk handkerchief, he handed it to Elder Wilford Woodruff and requested him to go and heal the children. He told Elder Woodruff to wipe the faces of the children with the handkerchief, and they should be healed. This he did, and they were healed. Now, just a few questions I want to pose to you right here. Again, going back to the story right here. By what power did Joseph Smith do the healing? Again, the healing is through the power of the priesthood. How would you react if you were asked to do the same thing as Wilford Woodruff? Wilford, take my handkerchief. Just go out and just brush people's faces and they'll be healed, right? Do objects and articles of clothing have miraculous power? No, they don't. They're just things, right? So what part did the handkerchief play in bringing about this miracle? It took place in the times of Paul and also took place right there in Nauvoo as well. Well, quote from Bruce R. McConkie years ago said this, "Healings come by the power of faith. There is no healing virtue or power in any item of clothing or any other object, whether owned by Paul or Jesus or anyone. But rights and objects may be used to help increase faith." So honestly, I look at the faith of this man. It's kind of like the woman who touches the hem of Jesus's garment. It's not like that hem was just magical, powerful clothing. She had faith enough to be able to be healed. Just like this non-member guy back in Nauvoo. He's like, "Look, I know you can heal, and I have the faith that you can heal." And Joseph's like, "Okay, the handkerchief, here you go." Again, it's just a hanky. It's not going to do anything special. But what it is it's an exhibit of faith. Some people have those physical objects that are nice reminders. Sometimes having those physical reminders does help you out right there. Now, the principle here, though, is that healings take place through priesthood authority and through faith. And so that was happening back in the days of Paul. It took place in the times of Joseph Smith, and it takes place today as well. There are individuals out there who have that faith to be healed. And so it's just a cool little story to see these miracles taking place, and some people just need that physical manifestation of it. Not that that has the power itself. The power is within you, with your faith in the Lord Jesus Christ and faith in his priesthood. I love this story, and I think it's just a cool one to show you that those miracles, special miracles, can be wrought by those who have that faith. And I'm grateful for that, and I know that it's true. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for subscribing. Thanks as always for sharing these messages. Again, we're so grateful that you do that. And if you haven't already, go check out our amazingly comfortable gospel-themed socks at bombsocks.com. BOM. Have a great week, and we'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.